Deutsche Bank wasn't the only bank in the news today. The CEO of Wells Fargo back in Washington as shares of that bank fell to multi-year lows. This time, John Stumpf faced questions from House lawmakers over his bank's fake account scandal. And members of Congress were just as angry this week as they were last. Wilfred Frost reports from Capitol Hill.
Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf faced his second hearing on Capitol Hill in just 9 days, coming also 2 days after he agreed to forfeit over $40 million of his pay. His challenge today to provide more detail and convince people he was sorry.
May I respond to that, please?
We'll give the witness an opportunity to respond.
As I said before, I'm sorry that we didn't get this right. I take this very seriously. I'm not in denial, and we will get this right. We will fix this.
As for the detail, we did get it. The 2 million faked accounts number could be as much as 75% lower based on their latest investigation. He also said the full board is being investigated internally, not just company executives like him. And the House committee does plan to investigate the regulators as well as the company, on whom there was mixed opinion. But the focus, once again, was the tone of the hearing as opposed to the content. Lawmakers still angry and wanting more.
The whole board needs to go if they're going to allow someone to be in charge when time after time. You just talked about you fired 5,300 employees. When you found out that they were doing something wrong, they were fired. Because they were doing something wrong. Well, something is going wrong at this bank, and you are the head of it. So shouldn't the board then turn from your own admission? If the buck stops with you, as you came out here and said, I apologize, the buck stopped with me, and you have to also admit that criminal activity was going on in your bank, then you should be fired because it stops with you.
The other big takeaway this week was the rising pressure for other banks to be dragged into what so far has been a single company issue.
We have institutions that are too big to fail. In 2008, we found that they were too big not to bail. The Eric Holder has told us that they are too big to jail, saying that he fears for putting them for bringing a criminal indictment. We now learn that they're too big to manage, too big to regulate. It's time to break them up.
Thus, the other banks will be keeping an eye on developments. So, to sum up, the CEO, John Stumpf, performed much better today than he did 9 days ago in front of the Senate hearing. But the issue rumbles on for Wells Fargo. For Nightly Business Report, Wilfred Frost in Washington.